Messianco, breaking Major League en la ciudad del sol. Here in Miami, we know who's el campeón. Leo my team, yeah. Suárez on the field, Alex wedding day team. Como que ya es un win, the trio of singing muchachos. Las familias se escuchan los barrios. Esta camiseta pinky la llevan todos los guachos. Los rookies quedan sin comentarios. Messi ambetea, tiki-taki gol. El estadio Chase bañado en gloria y sudor. Aquí se ama y se respeta el balón. Florida es tu casa, acostúmbrate al calor. Estate listo pa' Messianco. Estate listo pa' Messianco.
Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are in the world. Messi and Co family, 5 Reasons Sports family, we are so happy to have you guys on for a special, very, very special live episode today with a very important and special guest. First and foremost, we hope that you guys are having a great week. We know there's been a lot of football around Champions League, a lot of really important things with Inter Miami as well and Messi. But we're just happy to have you guys on. We have Ash, Matt, and I want to introduce someone that you may have seen that's been around football for many, many years. You may have seen her on Contacto Deportivo, República Deportiva, Fútbol Central, Primer Impacto, everywhere. She's been everywhere, Despierta América, a really important and special person in the football world. Lindsay Casinelli, how are you doing? We're so happy to have you on.
What a day to be in your show, guys. Thank you so much. It's a pleasure for me to be in your show today, especially because we already know who are going to be in Munich, right?
Yes.
Well, 2 teams that are going to be in the final. And there are, I was reading that it's the first time in 21 years that there are no teams from Spain or from Germany or from England at all, and there is an Italian and a French team in 21 years. What were you doing?
That's
crazy. Dad wasn't even born. Hi, Ashley. I'm so happy. Because we need to balance this out, and now you have your corner.
Ashley has been outnumbered this whole time. So
I know. I'm excited to finally have another awesome female commentator on the podcast. Yeah, I think that's a great place to start, though. Yesterday's match, I mean, of course, we're going to be talking about Inter Miami. We're going to talk about Messi, of course, the Club World Cup. But yesterday was quite a match in Milan. And you're someone who has relations with the Inter Milan players. You understand the team for a long time. You've covered sports for a long time. How would you describe yesterday's second leg and just the semifinal in general? I mean, like a million goals.
The Italian way, I have to say, it's Italian way, because it's not a beautiful game, but it's a very effective game. And we have to admire what Inzaghi has done with this team. It's the second time in the last 3 years that the Inter are, in a final. And I remember I was in Istanbul 2 years ago, and everybody was, putting Inter like the underdog, and Manchester City was gonna go and they're gonna smash this team. And believe me, they were very close to be, maybe
things would be different. Yeah, no trouble.
Yeah, Onana helped Manchester City, but other than that, it seemed that it was not easy to play, and that's why they are showing right now. They're a very, very hard team to play. I don't know who's gonna win that final with PSG, because I also think PSG is an incredible team, and Luis Enrique has done a wonderful job with the French team.
Yeah, I think that's what's beautiful about football is it's anybody can win at any given time. I think for me going into that game, I thought Barcelona were the favorites just because of their style of play. It's just a much more exciting, in contrast to what you were saying about Inter Milan. They have players that are exciting, like Lamine Yamal up front, that is arguably maybe a top 5 player right now. But then in contrast, you see Inter Milan just very composed.
Top 3 and
I was going to say top 3 or 2. Yeah.
But I mean, Lamine, wow.
Look, I do that just
can he stay at that level for a long period of time? Because there are things around him that worry a lot of people, but
No, yeah, 100%. I mean, I say that to be more objective. If I truly told you how highly I am on Lamine, I don't know if you'd call me crazy. So I go top 5, top 3. I go up and down, but there's the real way. I think he's the best player in the world at 17.
Okay, let's do this.
I think. I
Oh,
don't know.
Yeah, who thinks Lamine is right now the number one?
I do. I do right now.
Matt, help me here. Ashley is not on my corner.
Okay, as a Barcelona fan, I believe that he as a player for his age, he's definitely one of the best for his age in the world right now. I wouldn't put him that.
Who do you have above him?
I wouldn't say put him at.
Probably thinking Rodri, Mbappe. Let me guess, one of those.
Not Mbappe. I would.
Everybody's talking about Mbappe like he's doing nothing, and we're talking about a better season than what Cristiano had the first year. We're talking about gonna beat Ivan Zamorano as the best best scorer of Madrid on the first year. So why are we talking about Mbappe as a failure? Madrid did a horrible job planning their season, but that's not Mbappe's responsibility.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think also though when it's when you're playing with like Jude Bellingham, Vinny Jr., you're playing with all of these players who are in the top 5 as well. I think it's hard to shine, but he's doing his best for sure. It's a surprise to me. I was very surprised to see them lose to Arsenal. It makes it a tough season for them.
Horrible, honestly.
Yeah,
they're really horrible, and you have to accept that. But next year, let's see. Let's see next year.
Let's see. I mean, there are definitely arguments for both, and I think sometimes it sways to what team you favor or not. But those two guys definitely in their own are really top 2, top 3 players, and it's just exciting to see them play. We're going to be able to see them play even though they're not in Champions. We have El Clásico coming up on this weekend, so that's going to be exciting to see those two. Basically, La Liga on the line, 4 games to go, 4 points apart. This could be very decisive, so I think it'll be exciting. Lindsay, do you have any plans for Clásico?
It's Mother's Day.
Yes, it's Mother's Day, a special Mother's Day.
I believe, as a journalist, I'm going to tell you what I believe. I believe Barcelona is going to win. It's going to win on Sunday, and they're going to pretty much get, their title right there in front of the face of Madrid. But I don't think that's going to be, I don't think next year will be as easy as this year for them. Even though it wasn't easy, but if you read newspapers or you read articles, it's like, oh my God, the best Barcelona ever. And it's 4 points away from Madrid. And this is the worst Madrid ever. And it's only 4 points. It's a kind of perspective about maybe expectation. Yeah. And I do understand that part, because at the beginning of the year, if you were to tell me that Barcelona was going to be playing this well and doing these great things with these young players, I would say, please stop. Madrid just won 2 titles without Mbappe. What do you think is going to happen? That's a beauty of soccer, because you don't know what's going to happen. And at the beginning of the season, Madrid looked like unbeatable, and now maybe with nothing, empty-handed.
It's incredible to see, I think, the contrast between these two teams going from last season to this season. Like you said, you had a team, really, Real Madrid looked unbeatable, completely unbeatable. And you have Barcelona that's coming from, they weren't winning trophies. They didn't look that good under Xavi. But now Hansi Flick comes in and he completely turns this team around. Supercopa, Copa del Rey, 2 or 3 minutes away from a Champions League semifinal, about to win La Liga. I think it's an incredible change. But one of the things I think, and even though I'm not a follower of Real Madrid, I always have to give kudos to that team, because it's incredible how they always bounce back. They're always in the conversation. And I've been watching a Real Madrid game, and I see them 3 goals down with 20 minutes to go. Don't turn that TV off, because they can come back.
I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe they got a goal back.
But it's going to be an exciting Clásico. It's Mother's Day, as you mentioned, and I'm doing a barbecue with my mother-in-law. With my mother, it's going to be a fun time. My mother-in-law is a Real Madrid fan, but I still love her.
I love her. My friend. You know how funny it is? Like, I'm a Madrid fan, and my oldest, he's a Madridista, but my youngest, he likes Barcelona, and he's
Ooh.
6 years old. And yesterday he was so heartbroken with that game, and
Oh,
I was like, don't cry. We know people from Inter and
Yeah.
your friend. He's like, Mommy, I want to win. And I'm like, oh my God, this is
But how does that happen? How does one kid become a Madrid fan when the other one becomes a Barca fan?
because that's how it's supposed to happen. You have to allow them to have their feelings. And
Yeah.
one of my kids like Madrid because of Mbappe. And I tell you about Mbappe because I remember I was watching Mbappe when Mbappe was playing in Monaco. Nobody knew about him back in the days. He
Yeah.
was 17 years old, exactly like Lamine. And I used to watch those games because El Tigre Falcao was there. And I was just following, the Latinos or Hispanics around the world for preparation for Contacto Deportivo. And I saw this guy that reminded me now to Lamine Yamal, but it was Kylian Mbappe.
Yeah.
And I remember telling my husband, my husband also is in the world of soccer. And like, there is this guy that has something in him. It's like, are you crazy? Well, fast forward, World Cup 2018. And he was like, oh my God, that's the guy. I'm like, that's the guy.
You
And
knew.
then he laughs at me because he hasn't won a Champions. But I'm saying, maybe he made a mistake not going to Madrid before.
Yeah.
And I don't know. We don't know what's going to happen. But at the end of the day, it looks like maybe Mbappe's career won't be as successful as it could if you have taken this decision before. But when I don't know if you know the story, why he didn't make the decision before. Because
I don't know why.
He said in an interview, he said that if his dream, he said that if making his dream come true, which was to go to Madrid, was gonna kill his brother's dream that was playing for PSG, he wouldn't be able to sleep.
Wow, I was being selfless.
So
Wow.
he say, I wouldn't sleep. I wouldn't be able to sleep if I know just because I got my dream, I killed my brother's dream. Ethan's dream was to play for PSG. So he waited until he could help him. And the result is
that is
very romantic story, guys.
That is so
story.
brotherly love.
Up with that story, just
that love. That's gonna make
No,
me
well,
cry.
so that kind of leads me to we have a lot of good comments coming in, but here's one of them from Ace Lionel. Who is in your top three? If you had said that Yamal is number one right now, who would you have as the other two?
I think Lamine is a number. I don't say number one, but 1, 2, 3 for me. Kylian's still up there, and but that's also perception because you know who I love. Lautaro Martinez.
Yeah.
Thank you. Someone had to say it.
But I want Lautaro in my team all day long.
Because if I say it, I'm biased because I'm Argentinian. But so it's good that I hear it from somebody else. Because I said Lautaro had to win the Ballon d'Or last year. I thought it was between him and Rodri and Vinicius. I think I'm like Lautaro was like not even spoken about during that
he was
that whole discussion.
8th on the voting. That's crazy. You know who else I love? And I think it's a marvelous player.
Let me see.
Valverde.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that 100%.
He only scores bangers.
1,000%.
He only scores bangers.
No.
That guy
game
is
against
incredible.
Atletico Madrid, that was an insane goal.
Yeah, no. I mean, honestly, Valverde for me, maybe not top 3, but I'm saying what my favorite players are. Because at the end of the day, there are many factors that go into who are going to be the top 3 players in the world. They have to win titles. They have to, it's not only how good they play. And for what team they play means also, it makes an effect. But for me, Valverde, Lautaro, Lamine, Pedri, and I have to say Pedri, for example, also. And you know who I love too?
People agree with you.
Huh? Yeah.
People, they agree with you.
Exact same ones, yeah.
Rodri?
Well, maybe
now,
last year's
no.
Rodri, not now, but
no.
maybe, yeah.
You know who else? I love how he plays. And when I was at the Santiago Bernabeu in December, because my oldest wanted to see Mbappe and all that, and I was seeing this guy play, and I was like shocked by how he played. Camavinga.
Oh,
Mm.
Camavinga
Really?
plays very well.
Eduardo Camavinga. I mean, when he is in the game, it's an unbelievable player.
Mhm.
Then he had like a little bit of a downside, and then he picked up again, but he got injured. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
he was one of the players that I'm like, and my favorite of all time. Okay, guys, let's talk about history. What's your favorite?
History. Let's go. Well,
Favorite
my
player of all time?
Alt.
Well,
Ooh.
what's the name of the show? Messi.
What do we do? Favorite of all time without Messi? Like,
Yeah,
if
without
it's not
Messi.
Messi,
Oh,
without Messi.
Messi.
If
It's got to be
Harry
Ronaldinho
Kane.
for me.
Mine's Harry
Ronaldinho
Kane because I'm a Tottenham fan. So
Oh,
of all time.
Harry Kane is
Yes,
my favorite
it's like
player.
his first trophy.
It's his first trophy.
Yeah,
I know,
that's
yeah. And
true.
also, we weren't even saying it, but Mo Salah probably in that conversation of top 3 or 4 players. So yeah, I mean,
Yes.
who's yours? Who's your MFA?
My personal favorite player would be like I said before, Pupi Zanetti. He was my it was between him and it's Pupi or Diego Milito.
That's
Those were
so
my two favorite
beautiful.
growing up. That was not Messi.
That's so
To,
beautiful.
to me, it's got to be Ronaldinho. Ronaldinho
Yeah.
for me is still one of my
Beautiful
top
pick.
players. I remember as a kid, just watching him. He's one of the reasons that I fell in love with Barca. Really, even before Messi,
Yeah.
Ronaldinho made me fall in love. And he's one of the few last to really do joga bonito, I think. And it's just for me an incredible player still to this
Vinicius
day.
doesn't do the jogo bonito because he
One
does.
of the, but there aren't many. There aren't many that still do it to this day. It's still,
Yeah,
it's a
I give it to you. You know, Ronaldinho is my husband's favorite player, and
yeah, good
he
taste.
says like if he would be as disciplined as Messi and Cristiano, maybe he would be the best of all time.
100%.
Yes,
Yeah,
he was
100%.
Yeah.
Okay, mine, guys. I'm gonna
Let's
go
hear it.
Roberto Baggio, El Divino Codino.
Oh,
Ah,
nice.
okay.
Wow.
Roberto
Why
Baggio.
Baggio? What did he?
I'm telling
do
you,
for
when I was like, I'm not gonna tell you my age because you're gonna know my age, and I'm in that top. I'm in that moment of
You're
my
around.
life. I'm not
You're
really-
around my age. You're around my age, and nobody knows my age, and I'm not gonna tell anybody. So you're good. But we're young. That's what I'm gonna say. We're young.
Let's say like we're Messi now.
Yes.
A little bit more, but okay.
Messi is a little. He's young, and we are young as well, and that's what's important.
It is younger. Oh, Martin, my friend Martin is like, where you left Maradona? He's right. No, but for me, no. I'm sorry, Martin.
The Maradona is I think it's always a fun topic because to me when you talk about Maradona and you talk about Messi, it seems to be about the generations, those who actually saw him play live and who saw his best moments versus people that saw maybe Pelé, people that grew up with Messi. That's kind of what I've noticed. To me, those are you can't compare them. I would hate to put anybody over.
Yeah,
over
no. We're all preference.
Yeah,
we're not here to judge because that's not our job. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
my preference is completely different from yours, and it doesn't have to be the same. I don't understand why people start like really arguing about. Oh no, maybe for the kind of soccer I like or the kind of football I like, this player fits better. I love Cristiano Ronaldo. I love his mentality. And I will take guys, please don't hang up, okay?
We won't.
Don't hang up. I will take Ronaldo all day, every day over Messi. But that doesn't mean I don't love Messi.
Wow.
My heart is ouch.
No, not only that, it doesn't mean that I don't respect Messi and I don't think he's maybe the best player of all times. I could believe that. I could say, yeah. But at the same time, for my team, I will take Cristiano over Messi.
Look,
so
this
why
is what
is that? You gotta give us some explanation for that because I mean you're not alone. Of course, obviously the biggest debate is Messi or Ronaldo for the greatest. So it's not like there aren't reasons why Ronaldo couldn't be the greatest. So, but we're obviously very pro Messi here because But I want to know what in your opinion makes him more valuable for that team?
Me, I think he has been more how do you say determinante in determining
impactful,
yeah,
in everything around him more than Messi. I had this idea, for example. What would you think of Cristiano Ronaldo if instead of in Portugal, he was born in Spain or Italy or Germany?
Right.
How many titles will he have with the national team?
Yeah.
Yeah, nobody. That's the reality.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not trying to say he's better or no. I'm just saying he was born in a country and he represented that country by himself. And he won an Euro with nobody. And
That's
Messi
so true. That is so true.
And Messi did an awesome job. And he maybe, if it wouldn't be for God's sake, he would have won 2 World Cups. And there's nothing bad to say about Messi. I'm not trying to say anything bad about Messi. Please understand this.
No,
And
of course.
Cristiano had a lot to offer to soccer. And unfortunately, he was born in a country that doesn't have a great team like Argentina. Let's say it. Argentina is a powerful team. I think that's the story.
No, I 1000% agree with you. Like on that, like I'm obviously Argentinian, and I've grown up with Messi my whole life, and there was no point in my life where I thought Ronaldo was better than Messi, in my opinion. No point. But with that point that you bring up specifically, it makes all the sense in the world, because I have a friend who's Portuguese, and he tells me that all the time. He's like, Matt, Portugal was nothing before Cristiano Ronaldo. Yeah, we had Eusebio, we had like other players like that, but it was like compared to Ronaldo, what Cristiano Ronaldo has done is like he put us on the map. Everybody knows what Portugal is. He like you said, he took Portugal to win the Euro. It's like there would be nothing without Ronaldo. So yeah, no, you're 100% right when it comes. I can't even argue with that on that one.
But that doesn't mean that Messi's not great.
No. But that is the most valid point I've ever heard.
And that's why I would
talk about
Ronaldo to be on my team, because I think he's very impactful.
I think for me, I think Messi is still, in my eyes, when you're talking about pure player, the better player. I will agree that with Cristiano, the one caveat, the one thing that he brings that is different is that killer instinct. That's what I will give to him. That he will put an entire team on his shoulders and get a result that maybe you didn't necessarily think he or the team he's on had any business getting. That there's a difference of a killer instinct that I have to agree. Skills wise, everything else, I do think that as much as I did like I do have appreciation for Cristiano. When I was a kid playing, I tried to model my game with all the cool moves I did. I didn't do it nearly as good as him, but I still have some love for him. One of the things I wanted to actually talk to you about, Lindsay, is Messi and Inter Miami. And I know, because we were there, and I know that I'm pretty sure you were there as well. There's a special date that for Inter Miami, and it is it is July 21st, 2023. If you remember that date, a game against Cruz Azul, where you were there, and Messi's first game ever, and the way that game ended. Just the electricity before. The electricity. That game was incredible. The way that game ended, I was just, it felt like a movie. It didn't feel real at the time. How did you live that? What was your experience during that?
I was right there when he scored. I was at the field level. I was in that part of the field, of the pitch, and I saw it right there. I could send you my video because everybody was videotaping.
Of course.
And I took my camera and I was yelling and all that. I mean, honestly, and people say, "Oh no, Messi doesn't have that." He does have it. He does care. He also hates to lose. And you can see him how frustrated he gets, and because people used to say, not anymore, but used to say like, "Oh, he's a cold player." I don't think he's a cold player. I think he's a very, very energetic and passionate player. I remember before the Copa America Centenario in 2016, I wasn't much of a Messi fan. I was a completely Cristiano fan.
Yeah.
And I remember at the final when he missed that penalty kick against Chile, the way he broke down to the field, nobody could pick him up. I felt my stomach sick seeing how much he suffered that moment. I was like, oh my God, this guy, poor guy, really. I mean, he's trying to do because he had everything. He could just walk away and say, I don't care. And he never walked away from the, I mean, he said it briefly, but he walked away emotionally from the national team. He kept trying, and that's so admirable. And I think that we have to applaud that from Messi, because it wasn't easy for him to win. He lost that 2014. I was there in Brazil when got to score, and I was like, oh no! Everybody thought that Argentina was gonna win. They were doing, maybe extra times, but no, nothing. That guy came out of nowhere, scored that goal, and Argentina was like, what? And then I saw it again at the final with Copa America, and I saw his suffering, and I'm like, this guy really, really needs to win with Argentina. And in 2018, even though I'm not 22, I'm sorry, in Qatar, even though I'm an Mbappe fan, I was happy for Messi, and I was happy for Argentina, because those guys deserve that. I mean, they worked so hard. Di Maria. Every time I'm like, and my kids, and my oldest one that is an Mbappe fan, also he's like, Mom, I don't know what to do, because Mbappe already won, and now Messi, maybe his last chance. Can I go for Messi? I'm like, of course you can go for Messi, because that's how emotions, soccer is about emotions, and what brings soccer into our heart, it's beautiful. It's about also, you're allowed to change your mind, not your team, but your mind. You understand? You also root for a team. I root for this team and another team, but for example, I want Inter to win, but if PSG wins, I'll be so happy for Luis Enrique and for his story, everything he went through after the death of his daughter. So I'm not going to be like, all insensitive about things that happen around the game that are also important.
Yeah, it's an appreciation for the game in its entirety. Like, even in the midst of, the Barca loss against Inter, just going back to, originally what we were talking about, I was able to appreciate that Inter went in with a game plan, and they stuck to it. And it may not be the most attractive type of football and all that, but they did what they set out to do. And at the end of the day, as a football fan, you have to appreciate that. You really do. And that goes across for everything. You don't change your team, like you said, but you can definitely change your mind and appreciate what's happening in the moment. And I think that's just part of the love of the beautiful game for us.
And also, for example, the story about the defender, the Italian defender, Akabi, 37 years old. He didn't play first.
He looked like a center forward out of nowhere.
Although he was 22 years old, he overcame cancer twice.
Yeah.
He got a because his dad died. He was an alcoholic, and the guy got the goal of his life at 37. Come on, guys! It's the beauty of sports.
That's why football's so beautiful. Oh
my God. Agreed. Well, so we only have a few more minutes left with you. And of course, being that this is a Messi and Inter Miami podcast, I'm just curious your overall thoughts of how maybe the Messi experiment has worked so far in North America and for the team, and just maybe how it's going to grow. What has been your thoughts about it, especially compared to Cristiano going to Saudi? This is, the complete other direction, like $200 million pay cut, but maybe a more relevant audience. So how do you kind of weigh that out?
Well, I think he made his math, and believe me, it's not $200 million left.
That's true.
Anyways, and I think I really hope Inter can win a title before Messi leaves, because I think they're trying to work. I mean, they've been working for it. One of my favorite players is Luis Suarez, for example. But right now, it's like, I don't know if they're surrounding Messi with the right players. That's the reality. With the Whitecaps game, you could see that nobody was running.
Yeah.
On the Inter side, nobody was running back. They don't have the energy to run back and help the defense on games like that. And if you ask me, like, for example, I work in sports. If you ask me, okay, give me the whole Vancouver Whitecaps team, I'll be able to name you maybe 2 or 3 players. 2 or 3 players.
Ryan White, and then
And Berhalter, because
Berhalter's son. I was
Yes.
about to say another thing that gives me
Yeah.
nightmares. Yeah.
when you're telling me that these kids beat the Inter, I thought Inter was gonna win. I thought after LAC, I was like, you know what? We're gonna have Messi
Yeah.
at the final, and I was so happy because of the Confederation. My husband worked for the Confederation. My husband worked for CONCACAF, and I was already planning what I was gonna do. And believe me, I have big plans for the final, the first. Oh my God, I'm sorry, I don't know if this thing works. Okay.
No worries.
Excuse me, I cannot speak right now. I'll call you back.
Yeah. No, that was quite a Lindsay. That was quite a disappointment for all of us. But you know what was it was disappointing, but it wasn't surprising. I will say, because we saw this team going through difficulties.
I don't know. I was surprised because what I saw against LAFC, it was hard. It was coming back against a hard team. And yeah, I know.
But it was just Messi. That was the problem. It was just Messi doing all the work. And to prove your point, you said it. Look at the who they're surrounding Messi with, and you have guys that, you know, like for example, Luis Suarez. You said Luis Suarez is a guy that you like a lot, right?
Yeah.
And I love him too.
He's not
But
running.
at certain points, you have to kind of, you know, look at what he looks like on the pitch. Maybe he's not a guy that necessarily is playing 90 minutes. Nobody's saying for him not to see the field, but there's certain things that you can kind of, you know, throughout the story, you could kind of see this coming. We were surprised. We still expected Inter Miami to win, but I don't know. How do you feel about, lastly, before you have to leave soon, how did you feel about Mache so far throughout this season? Do you think he's done a good job? Do you think that he still has a lot left to learn as a young coach?
I think he has to prove himself.
Yeah.
And he still have a chance because the season is so young still. And honestly, about it, I want to go back to an important point. I think no Messi, but Inter is losing a big opportunity on kids. Because now kids are going to the stadium, and I'm telling you, because I went with my kids' team, Ibrahimovic, the whole, they play for Juventus. We took the whole team, and instead of having these fans to fall in love with the team, they're only in love with Messi.
Yes, 100%.
They're only in love with Messi. And at the end of the day, this business is about loyalty. You have to build your base. And you have a great opportunity right now in this country of getting the attention of so many kids that are in love with soccer. My kids watch soccer all day, every day. And they watch the Inter when they play the Inter Miami, but only because of Messi.
Yeah,
right. I don't know if they are developing what they developed for Barcelona or for Madrid or for even America. And how do you make that happen? Winning. You know what happened? Why my kids now root for America and Mexico? Because they won. They see them competing, and you need to bring those games. Like, for example, you say, Ashley, in one of your podcasts, that game was so great with against LAFC. Those kind of games, you had to have it, but not once a year. You had to have it more than that in order to really build your base and survive after Messi retires, because he's eventually going to retire. He needs to rest.
You have to take advantage.
We've been saying that, and I mean, the feeling like we touched on, which was that first game where you scored that free kick at the end, the energy and that vibe, they need to recreate it more and more. And so before you leave, last question, how do you think Inter Miami are going to do in the Club World Cup? How do you think that tournament's going to go overall? And maybe who's your favorite? Yeah, you can be honest.
The screen is about to go black.
Guys, anything could happen. Anything could happen.
True.
I don't know if Messi and company, thinking about how this tournament is going to be seen around the world. they have to have a pride that they need to defend. And I don't think it's gonna be a complete flop, like Busquets says. And no, it was Busquets.
I think it was
At the
Busquets. that said
Formula
that.
Uno, remember?
Yeah.
That he said,
Yeah, I think it was him.
"Oh, we're not even there to compete." I'm like, what? Hey, God, don't tell me. And things can change at the end of the day, right? Leicester City a few years ago won the Premier League. Why not?
Yeah.
But I do believe it will take a lot of not an extra effort, an effort, and by 5 times of the people that know how to play this kind of soccer or football, which it's the real name, football. No
Football, 100%.
and you know what? Talking about the soccer or the football, I was just the other day speaking to my husband, and as I told you, he works in CONCACAF, and I call soccer, and he's like, don't say soccer. I'm like, ¿Cómo no soccer? Le digo, si soccer a U.S. Federation, call it soccer. And he says, no, CONCACAF is football association. I'm like, okay, guys, get it together here in this area because the kids are getting confused. So I'm like,
pick one or the other.
Hashtag soccer mom or football mom.
The never-ending debate.
I don't think we have to be so pessimistic. That's what because we have seen many things going the way we didn't expect. Yeah. And I don't know if because this is an international tournament, maybe Messi is gonna be like, hey, hello, there. I'm going, guys. We need to get it.
This is where he shows up.
What are we gonna do? Huh?
Yeah, maybe I'm excited for it. I think it's going to be really fun and it'll be good. I think it will help. Hopefully, your point, which was that the young people in North America, we want to get them more and more excited about soccer and having all these.
They are excited. Nah, they are. It's incredible. I didn't know existed. All these kids playing soccer. I didn't know. I mean, I was working for professional sports, and I never even thought about the possibility of this world that is so beautiful. Now with the kids getting so much, they're getting involved with soccer in a way that I've never seen it before. Maybe because I wasn't a mother before, but no, I don't. No, even the Juventus, like the team my kids play for, it was a small team with few groups, and now it's like a huge big ones, and they have locations everywhere because they are interested. It's not the parents. We're not telling them go play soccer. I didn't say that to my kids. They are getting interested, and there will be more interested not only this year. Can you imagine next year when the World Cup gets? It's gonna be unbelievable.
Yeah. Are your kids playing FIFA? Do they also play the video games?
They do, but actually they like it better at the field. Yeah,
100%.
That's good.
And guys, if you in only day or some, kind of those pages, you see a girl or a mom like yelling and saying, Michele, I'm gonna play la chancleta. That's not me. Okay?
We
will make sure not to tag you.
We wouldn't think of it, yeah.
I'm a football coach.
No.
I say, don't walk that field or I'm not going to come in back here. He's like,
I think as a kid growing up playing football, soccer, football, I would have rather that than what my parents did. My parents used to go up with bubusuelas and triangles and cowbells on the sideline, and that was embarrassing. Holy cow. So you're good, Lindsay. I think that I would rather that.
No, I'm very passionate about it. I like it.
No,
Get out of
100%,
it. I'm considering not going anymore. I'm gonna retire. I'm gonna retire before my kids get to the under 11.
And there's a long way to go. Still, it goes up there. But Lindsay, I know that you have to go, and we're just really happy that you really made time out of your really busy day to come and spend it with us to talk about Inter, Messi, champion. I feel like we touched so many topics, and we had a ton of fun and laughs, and we would definitely love to have you back sometime. But really, thank you.
We can meet again, my friend.
Yes, 100%. So
we'll check in after the Club World Cup to see how it all went. But yeah, it was.
Oh my God! I'm going to replay this video. Yeah. Oh my God.
Oh, it was awesome.
Hard to say anything now. Oh, thank you so much, guys. It's a pleasure. Always talking about what we love. I don't like that kind of journalism where you only talk bad about something.
100%.
They get a point. Yeah, there are bad things about it. There are good things about it, and you can have different opinions, and we can all respect each other. I hope people in your podcast don't hate me because I say Christian.
No, they like having good conversations and opinions.
Why would I say something different? Just no.
No, it's good. Varying opinions are good, and that's why that's what we love. So a lot of times we disagree with each other, or we'll talk about different things, and some of us get some feedback, and that's quite all right.
Never me.
Suarez. You don't like Suarez.
Yeah.
Awesome.
But yeah.
Great forward. Oh my God.
Yeah.
well, yeah. Anyway, Lindsay, thank you again so much. It was so much fun.
Thank you so much.
We're gonna talk a little bit more in there, Miami, but we're gonna take a quick break. So don't go away. But yeah, we'll be right back. Thanks, Linz.
Jordi, Messi, Jordi, el centro, Messi.
Messi Anko, breaking Major League en la ciudad del sol. Here in Miami, we know who's el campeón. Leo my team, yeah. Suarez on the field, Alex wedding day team. Como que ya son win, the trio Fabi singing muchachos. La familia se escucha en los barrios. Esta camiseta pinky la llevan todos los guachos. Los rookies quedan sin comentarios. Messi ambetea, tiki-taki gol. El estadio Chase bañado en gloria y sudor. Aquí se ama y se respeta el balón. Florida es tu casa, acostúmbrate al calor. Estate listo pa' Messi Anko. Estate listo pa' Messi Anko.
Well, that was fun.
That was so fun. That was
so
really
much
great.
fun.
I'm so happy Lindsay joined. A really great conversation. Great opinions. Honestly, I mean, obviously we feel how we feel about Messi, and that's, debated in the comments for sure. But I loved having a different perspective and being able, it's a real debate, because Messi or Ronaldo is a real debate. It's not like it's like the nothing anyone ever thinks. So it's good to have that perspective.
To be honest, I honestly really liked her reasoning behind the Cristiano being better than Messi. Like, not that I agree with it. Like, I always will think Messi is the best, but I loved her reasoning behind it. And I think it was probably the best reasoning that I've heard from somebody that's ever made that statement or that claim before.
Yeah, it was good reasoning. And I would just, I guess, go back to what she said, which is not necessarily that he's better, but that she would pick him, I guess, over Messi for her team. Because at the end of the day, I still, I understand that. I still think Messi's a better player overall. And I obviously have him on my team 100%. But look, one of the things that I thought was really important that she said, and I kind of wanted to continue talking through it if you guys will allow, and we'll kind of share our opinions, is she said that Inter Miami right now is not building an affinity to the team, but rather to a player. And they're just solely really focusing on that. And I couldn't agree more. I think that maybe, the time with Messi is really limited. You're not going to have him forever. And right now is a time where you need to use Messi to bring players to the club, to love your club, to support your club, to be here for Inter Miami. And I don't know if they're doing that 100%, because look at the game against Vancouver here. We were at Chase Stadium. We were down on aggregate 5-1, and I'm hearing Messi, down 5-1. I'm like, that was very telling. That was very telling of the crowd that was there. If I was at any other game, a fan, maybe my team from Ecuador, if my team is down 5-1, I'm not chanting a player's name. And I understand it's Messi. I understand all of that. But there is a point to be made, and I'm interested to hear what you guys say. There is a point to be made that maybe they're not utilizing this moment to the best of their ability to prepare for a post-Messi Inter Miami.
Yeah, I mean, we last season, Matt, you weren't there, but last season we had a lot of conversations about, Inter Miami sometimes not treating fans with the best first thing, or maximizing the loyalty and with tickets and different things, the injury, not being honest with it. I think it hurt a lot of fans last year. And I mean, I think they've done a much better job this year in terms of just like the overall experience and stuff, but it hurt people. And to your point, it just then became, okay, we want to go see Messi and get our moment, not as much about building the community, which is what, you know, they need to do. They need to create a lasting effect and a strong infrastructure so that more, like, just like LA Galaxy did, like, when Beckham left, they for a while kept getting great players and kept having moments. I mean, Ibrahimovic, obviously, and many others, and were able to sustain momentum. And I don't know if Inter Miami are positioning themselves the same.
There's so many, like, I remember, I know I wasn't with you guys last year, but I think everybody was talking about this. Like, there was like a period of time last year where this was the talking point for this club, because literally it's like, well, what's Inter Miami going to do like after Messi? And like what Gian said earlier, when like everybody was chanting Messi's name, I don't know if you guys realize this when you're at the stadium, but like when I'm sitting there in my seat, I've been sitting there, like I said, in the same seat for the last 5 years. And there hasn't been like a point, like, you know, when they do the announcements and they yell the starting lineups, or the announcer says the starting lineups for our team, he goes down the list, he goes Jordi Alba, blah, blah, blah. Nobody clap, nobody yells, nobody cheers until they say Messi, and then everybody's cheering and yelling Messi's name, Messi, but then like nobody cheers Noah, nobody cheers Jordi or whoever. And so it's a real problem, and it's definitely they're definitely gonna feel it. And I don't know what next year is going to look like now with the new stadium, things like that, because that's where it's really going to be a true test. Because now you're going into a bigger stadium. It's going to be a lot more expensive. Are you going to be attracting the same people? Are you going to lose a lot of people? Like it's going to be hard. Next year is definitely going to be the real test.
And they need to win. They need to win things to get people in seats. Like, you know, I think you're seeing, this is most we ever talk about Ronaldo, but I think you're seeing with Ronaldo's team Al Nassr, they're losing. They keep losing, you know, trophies and things, and they're in Al Hilal and other teams are better. And like fans are starting to turn on it and be like, you guys aren't winning anything, so we're not going to support. And I think it's a real thing that happens. I mean, look at Madrid. After a year and a half, sometimes fans go berserk if they're not winning everything. So it's important. You need to win.
Is anything of what's happened lately with this club, you know, obviously dropping this game against Vancouver and not going into the final, like I'm wondering, does anything at all make you doubt a little bit about Messi maybe coming back next season? Do you think that that's out of the question? Do you think maybe his mind is maybe turning, like, I don't want to do this? Like, because if you're Messi, I don't think he gives I don't think he cares that much about supportership. I don't think he cares about Leagues Cup. He knows
there's got to be another banned episode just now. I think.
Yeah. I think that he knows how important a Champions Cup game or a Champions Cup final would be. He knows what the league, like winning the league, how important that is. Like, does this any way affect his thinking for next season?
I think because if it wasn't a World Cup, there would be a lot of options. I think in the eyes of, you know, the soccer community of the world and even Argentina, I think if he's playing in any lower league or less of a role than he's playing right now and is not active, you know, he's not gonna, it'd be harder to have him play in the World Cup next year, honestly. Like, and so I think that's the priority, is to be able to still start and be the leader of next World Cup. And in order to do that, he needs to still be the best player on the pitch and on the league. And I think that's what he gets from Miami.
That's 100% right. I think that may be the glue to Inter Miami, is exactly what you just said. That obviously he wants to win and all those things, but even if what you just said is what's going to keep him around to 2026, that World Cup lingering,
that's the only factor
over him, because and the reason why that's so true what you said is because I don't see him leaving to play on another team to stay in shape for the World Cup. Like, I don't there's no other team that he would play. Obviously there's options, but his family, everything, he's set up here. He's so good here. He's with his friends. He's got the coach he wants. He's got everything that he wants. It's got to be what's you know, holding
Now
him
it's
down.
just about being physically fit and being
Right.
ready, and that's
And
the
so
only
I think if the World Cup was this year, for example, or if it was in 2 years, I think it's a different conversation where maybe
Yeah,
he is,
100%.
but because it's next year, it's in America, and he's gonna, if he goes, it's because he's the starting captain and he's starting and playing every match. That's the only way he does it. It's that or nothing. And so in order, I think, to do that, he has to be, like I said, he has to be playing competitively and with a big role, and that's what he's guaranteed to have at least through next year. And I also think, honestly, with the new stadium and contractually, I think it would be very difficult to imagine him not being here next year unless he retires. That would be the only thing that would change it.
Something we haven't really talked about is this Inter Miami team, I guess, in its current form, and how things have kind of snowballed until what just happened with Vancouver. And now obviously we come out and we have a statement win, which I think was really important. We were talking about that, like Inter Miami after this has to come out with a statement win. In your guys' eyes, what has gone wrong, I guess, for Inter Miami? And is this 4-1 win, was it convincing enough from any angle, from a score, from a stat line, from what you saw on the field? Is it convincing enough to tell you, oh shoot, they may have fixed some things?
Matt, you want to go first?
Yeah, I was gonna say convincing, no, because there's still a lot wrong with what we've been seeing on the pitch tactically, and just don't get me wrong, a 4-1 win is always great in any case at all. But this is a mid New York Red Bulls team. This is an Inter Miami team that's still trying to find their form and trying to find their place as or trying to live up to the expectation of being the best in the league. I wouldn't say like this result really resolved anything. We definitely fixed some mistakes or some hiccups that we've seen in probably the last month maybe.
Yeah.
But it would have to. We still have a long season ahead. Like we have a long season ahead, and Mascherano, like how Lindsay said it earlier, like Mascherano still has to prove himself, and this team has to continue to keep winning and show that they want to win. They show that they can handle the pressure, the intensity of all these games in any competition, really. It's not just. But I don't know what you guys think about that, but
yeah, I mean, I think similarly. Like, it was a win they needed to do, and they needed that win, and you saw especially Messi's goal. Like, it was kind of him like being like, finally, like,
yeah, exactly,
like,
yes,
he had a lot of emotions in that one, and you asked earlier, Gian, like, what do we think is the biggest difference, or what has been the thing that's hurt this team? I think is that Luis Suarez has had a huge dip this season, and last season, he was slower and not him and Messi would stay back, but he scored and was responsible for 30 plus goals in terms of contribution as well, and that's what Inter Miami needed. And while the defense suffered, we were able to score a lot, and that's what you need in this team is you need excitement, you need goals, you need that's to what we were circling back on earlier. Like, you got to have these people interested in the team overall and like excited to see it. And this Inter Miami team is really lacking attacking weapons outside of Messi, because everyone else is being very up and down in their performance. Messi, I think, has been the most consistent, which I guess isn't really a surprise, but like he's been playing at the highest level. But Allende, Segovia, I don't think Fafa's getting enough minutes. You lose Robert Taylor and Gressel. Like, the offense is struggling, and so that is what is holding the team back the most. And I think this summer and with the Club World Cup, they're going to need to bring in some more attacking weapons. Maybe that's the plan. Maybe that's been the plan all along, knowing we've gotten a lot of GAM money recently and we've been able to move some roster things, but something has to change.
Yeah, you said it, Messi's been playing at a high level, and a lot of I've seen. I'm sure you guys have seen as well. There's been a lot of criticism on Messi and saying that they've lost because he hasn't scored, or lost because he hasn't been as impactful on the offensive end. But I think, look, I'm going to be very. I'm going to have two different opinions on this. One opinion is that for this team, it is not constructive for this team. It is not realistic for this team, and it means that this team is not in a good position if they need Messi to be 10 of 10 every game, and not just 10 of 10, to be 15 of 10, to be extraordinary, just for them to have an opportunity. If that's what you're expecting from Messi day in and day out at this age, and even if he was younger, that means that you don't have your team ready to win games, and they're not in a good spot. That's not healthy. So that's one part. Now, if you want to put some responsibility on Messi, I'm not completely against you putting responsibility on Messi, but it's the type of responsibility that is the difference for me. I hear a lot of responsibility, again, to what I just said. He needs to play better. Can he play better? Yeah, but he's the guy that's handling the ball. He's the guy that's basically the motor of the team. Where the responsibility comes in is we can't pretend and dance around these things. This team was built around him, and we know that he has input on this team. There's a reason why you have Suarez here and why Suarez is still getting the minutes that he's getting, right? Nobody's against Suarez playing, but I think many would agree that maybe 90 minutes isn't the best idea for a 37-year-old guy that has knee problems and is clearly on the down, going down in his career. Yeah, I think that's very clear to a lot of us. Playing players, Mascherano, for example. Mascherano, we know, is here because of Messi. There's no other valid reason for him to be here. Looking at his resume, looking at different things, there's no other reason. The one in charge of making the sporting decisions, it's Messi's football godfather. That's literally what he said. It's somebody else from Messi's camp. So a lot of the decisions and a lot of the reasons why you see the way this team is running, the players that are going out, the players that are coming in, all that, it has to do with Messi. So I'm going to put some of that responsibility on Messi. But outside of that, Messi is doing everything he can. And I'm going to put the rest of the blame really on Mascherano because he's the one that makes the decisions. So look, and this is something that I can't give a lot of information on, just because and this is actually funny that you guys are going to hear this for the first time too, Ash and Matt. I have information that I cannot give exact quotes, because if I give exact quotes, that person finds out. But there are players on this team that don't think that Suarez should be playing the amount of minutes that he's playing. It's not just the fan thing. It's not just there are players that disagree, direct quotes, with Mascherano playing Suarez more than, say, 25 to 30 minutes a game. There are actual players, and if there's, it's not just us. If there's players that agree with that, I think that that's a problem.
And that brings up like another topic or another issue too. It's like, well, now this is turned into a locker room issue. So it's like now you can look at the performances that we've been putting on the field, and you link it with this quote of players saying that they don't want Suarez to play 90 minutes. It's like, okay, now we have a team that's like not turning against each other, I would say, but there are just a lot of disagreements. There's a lot of maybe saltiness, anger, frustration, jealousy, things like that. And it's like, well, now that low-key kind of plays mind games when you're on the field.
And when you don't win, like I said, winning cures everything. If last year Suarez was scoring, assisting, and this team was, it was much more exciting. And now when you don't win, things get more tense. And I mean, it's still, we're only a month or so away from the Club World Cup, and I think they have a favorable group where obviously we're not expecting them to be, Real Madrid, Bayern, any of the, but they can make it enough in the tournament and show some excitement and some, representing in Miami, and the team has plenty of time to be able to shore up the depth and prepare for the playoffs and being able to make it to the MLS Cup and maybe even the Leagues Cup. So there's still lots to play for. The Club World Cup is exciting, but they need to, I think, to your point, like Suarez and we knew it would happen. It's a cliff, right? Because of just the way he plays, the way he always plays. I mean, it's so aggressive, it's running, it's over the top, it's creating magic. And when the moment came where he couldn't do, like, let's say 2 of the 4 or 3 of the 4, it was going to have a huge impact in his performance and his ability. And right now he's not finishing well. And the goals he aren't scoring this year, he scored last year. And that's why it was, a much different feeling.
Yeah. Look, we're coming up on the hour. So, but I before we drop off, there's one, I think it all culminates to this. And I want to leave you with this question. So we on our way out, we obviously are out of Champions Cup. I think we're either 5th or 4th. I'm not sure in league standings right now.
I think 4th.
We are 4th.
If Mascherano if we do not win the league, is Mascherano on his way out? Is he not around for next season?
Absolutely.
I think if they're not looking good in the fall, in August or September, you could see him. I don't think they're gonna. I don't think he's gonna leave. By the way, I think they can turn it around, but if the team isn't looking good, they're not going to risk losing in the first round of the playoffs again, knowing the limited time they have with Messi. I think they'll make quick, towards the end of the season. I think you'll see more quick, impulsive decisions.
That makes sense. That's an even shorter leash. What do you think, Matt?
I was gonna say something similar, but I was also gonna say it's very difficult for me to picture this team without a Mascherano for the rest of this year, because it's who are you gonna bring in? But honestly, it's I think at this point the leash is definitely gonna be short, especially what Ashley said. If this fall, it's if you crash out of Leagues Cup, if you're not even at a good standing in the Eastern Conference table.
Or don't make it out of the Club World Cup group. You got to show
something. I mean, because now it's what is the expectation before we get to obviously the expectation is to win MLS Cup, but it's before that, what do you want to do? Do you want to finish 9th and win the are we gonna? How far do you want to make it in the Leagues Cup? How far do you want to make it in Club World Cup? Are we just gonna crash out all of these tournaments? I think it's what's the expression I'm looking for? It's I don't know, but it's they're on thin ice. Very thin. Yeah. He's on thin ice.
They're gonna need reinforcements for Club World Cup if they don't want to be humiliated. They 100% need reinforcements for Club World Cup.
Didn't Mascherano talk about how he didn't huh?
Well, they're playing Ali.
The group right here is Ali.
They're playing Porto, which is going to be
difficult, but Porto and Palmeiras.
And Palmeiras, yeah.
See, I think they could win
hard.
2 of those 3 games.
That's 2. I mean,
Palmeiras and Porto. That is, I don't know.
They could go 1-1-1, which would get them out of the group.
Okay, sure.
I mean, maybe. I mean, I've watched Palmeiras in play in Libertadores, and that is, I don't know. I don't think not right now. This, if we see a difference over the next few games. See this team come together. Maybe we get an announcement, of because apparently there's that small transfer window that's going to come up to bring somebody in for Club World Cup. Maybe if we see something, then maybe there's a chance to, I don't know, best case scenario, come out 2nd in the group. Best case scenario, but right now I honestly have zero confidence in this team in a Club World Cup.
I think they're going to get some reinforcements. I hope so.
Yeah.
We'll see. But with the amount of money Messi and everyone costs, and the amount of money it costs to go to Inter Miami games and etc., there needs to be meaningful games all season. And if people are feeling like the games are not meaningful and that things are not working, I think you'll see changes.
Yeah. No,
we would hope.
Hopefully we continue the trend of Saturday.
We would hope. I love it. You're a little bit more cautious, man.
I would just want to hope, man. Because it's but we all knew the expectations. Mascherano knew going into this job, taking this job, that the expectations were going to be high, and that if he didn't perform and that he wasn't going to perform, that there'd be severe consequences. Because he recently came out and it was okay, we lost. Vancouver deserved it. Vancouver were better. It's no, dude. This is not oh, we lost. It isn't. No. We were supposed to win. We were supposed to win this second leg. We had it in the first half. We were supposed to win this competition. You're expected to win the MLS Cup. You're gonna have a challenging Club World Cup, Leagues Cup. We don't know, and now we can't pretend this is all oh, okay.
You can see the lack of experience in some of the answers that he gives. Most definitely that, and other answers saying that we competed when you went down 5-1, we lost 5-1 on aggregate, and saying that you competed. Those are, I mean, some of those answers were baffling. And even he, when this last press conference that I was in, he was like trying to correct it, like trying to say, like trying to fix that answer.
Yeah, because he knew he messed up.
I know I got a lot of criticism, so, and then he just started, and I was like, that's the inexperience of a coach. He's still, it's not to hate on him. It's just that he still has so much in front of him. He's a young guy. He's a player. He knows a lot and all that. But when you come to a team that has such high expectations, for a new coach, it's going to be tough. And I don't know. I don't
this
know
is how it's going to be. Like that's what you should expect when you go to a team with high expectations like Inter Miami, especially now more than ever with everybody that's here.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
Any parting words, guys, before we head out?
No, I think an hour and 5 minutes. I think we've had a lot. We've covered everything, and you know, again, I know it sounds silly, but there's so much left of the season and so many things happening that we have a lot of exciting things upcoming.
Yeah,
especially now. Before you wrap it up. Now we have like this congested schedule. We have, what is it? Saturday, Wednesday, Sunday, then Saturday again, and then Wednesday, then Saturday. So it's like we only have a week break,
and then
the Club World Cup. So it's going to be very interesting to see how Mascherano, because the last time we saw this was in the beginning of the season, and he handled it well. But now this is kind of mid-season ish.
So it's about a little, like 1/3 of the season, getting to the middle.
Sure, yeah. So it's like we're getting in there a little more. Players are going to be tired. Match sharpness. So this is now going to be another really crazy test, and I'm interested to see how he's going to handle it and how the team's going to handle it.
Yeah. There's always excuses and that sort of thing for the beginning of the season, but after this, by this time, the team has to be well oiled and look good. And if they don't by this time, I mean, it starts to get a little worrisome. But it's been over an hour. Man, we had an awesome guest. We had a lot of fun, some laughs, some interesting conversations, some conversations that you guys didn't agree with. It's funny, some opinions, but we loved having Lindsay on here. It was really fun. Thank you, Lindsay, if you catch this part of the show, and thank you all for being around and sharing your comments. And it's always fun to interact with you guys. We're going to ask you guys, as always, make sure you hit a thumbs up on this video, because that's going to help us. The YouTube algorithms, more people get to see it, more people get to interact with us. So ask you guys for that. Make sure you like the video. Make sure you follow us at 5 Reasons Football. That's on X. That's where we tweet out all of the games. We bring you guys videos live from the stadium. We put all of our interviews on the mix zone after the games as well on there, so you can catch stuff that you usually won't catch anywhere else, to get to see the behind the scenes. Thanks, guys. Really appreciate you, and we will catch you on the next one.
See you guys.
See ya.
Yeah.